You are not prepared.
You are not prepared!
Welcome back to World of Warcraft Resurrected. I'm Chris.
And this is Brandon.
And we're coming back at you. We're going to talk about some news. We're going to talk about some more Karazhan and what we've been doing in game. So, let's start off with you. What have you been doing?
Well, right now I'm coughing my head off. But,
Disclaimer, 420 friendly.
you know, plus I got a cough from being still a little bit sick. I've been doing nothing, really. There for a couple of weeks I was busy with real life stuff. Wife had things going on. I had things going on. Doctor's appointments, kids, school functions. But when I have been able to get on, it's been mainly just raid days. And if we haven't been doing anything, mainly what we've
Raid
been doing.
logging? How dare you?
Yeah, I know, right? Mags and rules. Nothing has dropped really. Can't use anything other than.
I haven't been raid logging. I've been raid logging and doing my 2 dailies every day, cooking and fishing.
Right. Yeah, I guess the biggest news is I've started playing a hunter.
What happened to your mage and your warrior?
I just hadn't played them.
Oh.
Mage is 62, warrior is level 38.
You were supposed to tell us all about your running slave pins.
Yeah, I can't do
Soloing
it until
stuff.
65.
Well, darn it.
I tried it. I can get the pull down. It probably, if I had better gear, if I would have came in my character being level 60, and I would have had like Nax gear or T2, some kind of gear like that, then yeah, I probably could have done it because I would have had more hit points and more mana.
Well, I told you the last podcast, take Mazen in there and run it a couple times with your mage and get you a level or two.
Yeah, I need to do that. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do as far as my mage. Do I want to stick with this and do the SP for the... because it's going to be good money, or do I just want to go ahead and get him to 70, start doing stuff with him, get him good gear, and then switch him back and start doing that for money, for the slave pins for money.
Yeah.
Either way. But I've quit playing. I just started playing a hunter just because I kind of got bored of all my other characters. I like leveling to like 40 and then quitting. I don't know why. It's just fun to me.
I got your shaman up to 40. I got my rogue up to 50. And that's practically all. I finally got the mind blade on my shaman out of Karazhan last weekend, I think. Finally. Now I don't need nothing out of Karazhan on my shaman now. Now I'll still go if they need me, but I haven't really had a chance to go. And then last weekend I went to SSC on Shrody.
Oh, I forgot to talk about our SSC run that we did.
Yeah, so I took Shrody out of the guild and went and joined another guild called Faith of the Fallen, and I have their permission to talk about them. And we downed the same 2 bosses y'all did the other night, which was Lurker and
Hydros and Lurker.
Hydros. Yeah. I can't remember if we killed it on the first try on Hydros or the second try. I can't remember. But Lurker below, we did it twice. The second time. So, I'm kind of shocked because I didn't think my druid was too well geared because he's still got a green weapon. Of course, all of his other ones I think are purples. Not really sure.
It's called a carry.
And I don't have anything. I don't think I have anything enchanted.
Yeah,
I don't think I had any of my gear. I don't think any of my gear had gem slots until I picked one up from Grower Mags the other night.
Yep, he got carried.
And I was, after the end of the night, I was third in DPS. A lot of the fights I was top DPS. And so, I was carried? I don't think so.
Well, hold on though. DPS and damage are two different things. You might have been higher on DPS, but look at damage. That's what I look at.
I was fourth or fifth in damage done.
That's what I look at.
Yeah. A lot of people look at DPS, a lot of people look at damage. I sometimes look at damage if I'm alive most of the time. If I'm dead a lot, then I don't look at the damage.
Look at damage because if you look at the damage on the meter, it also shows DPS out beside it.
Yeah, it does.
So,
but it doesn't show it. You don't show the DPS ranks 1 through whatever.
Oh.
But it will show you in parentheses the DPS. Yes, it does. But damage overall, I was 4th or 5th. So, still don't think I was carried, but, you know, whatever you say.
I like carried.
Speaking of carried, how did you do with SSC?
I'm a healer.
Oh.
So I don't get carried. I do the carrying.
You just follow people. And
yeah, I do the carrying.
And you throw stuff on them.
Carry all the Band-Aids.
You sprinkle your dust on them.
You're right. No, we had I think we had 15 people from, around 13, 15 people show up from the tribe. So we decided, to hell with it. We're going to go ahead and pug the other 10. And started grabbing people. Just going to pug the other people. We only needed like one more healer, I think. So we pugged the healer, and the rest we needed was DPS. And we pugged the DPS, and we had no problem. I mean, trash went down, very, like head cheerleader on prom night. It was really fast. And after that, we really didn't have, we did have some wipes, but we figured out what the problem was. Like, we wiped on, I just couldn't figure it out. But we had a hunter that wasn't in Discord. And he wasn't listening, and he just kept pulling aggro. As soon as we'd cross him over, we'd go from water to poison. And then when we were going from poison back to water, he would pull him back across the line. Because he didn't understand to stop shooting. Or something. I don't know what he was doing, but he was just not there in the head or something. We kept pulling him across the line. We asked him 3 times to get in Discord. He didn't get in Discord. We kicked him. We grabbed the priest that was in the guild. And downed him first try. So, if we would have just had the priest and not the hunter, we would have just downed him first try anyways. And then we went on to Lurker, and Lurker gave us some problem there for a little bit until everybody kind of got the mechanic of it. Once the people that hadn't seen the fight and really hadn't done it a whole lot did the fight a couple of times, we cleared it with 25 of 25 still alive. So, it wasn't... there was something that I haven't seen before. I know when he spins around and does a spout, he does it a little past 360 degrees. Like 365 degrees maybe or something like that. But when we were playing, it looked like he came way further over, and I got killed once by the spout, and I've never been killed by the spout before. And I got killed by it, and for some reason it swung way past like 363 degrees. And we don't know if maybe that was the problem, if that was just a glitch. It seemed like we had a couple of glitches. So.
From where I usually stand, he always goes just a little ways over 360.
Yeah, and then that's what. And usually where I stand, I wasn't getting hit, and I'm thinking maybe I just moved over too far and didn't notice it, something like that. I think, or I got hit by what do they call that? The geyser or something. And when I came back up in the wrong spot and thought I was in the right spot, and just stayed there. But anyway, after we got, and with me being dead, everybody, we got him down to like 3%, and they were like, "Oh, we'll get him next time." Well, next time we did it, Addie ended up dying, and I rezzed her, and then I was too close up front, and Clinch ended up getting hit by a cleave. So that messed us up, and then the next time we did it. So it was just kind of a bad positioning there for a couple of minutes, but a couple of tries. But after that, nobody got really mad. Yeah, it took us a while because we didn't get started for a while. It kind of started late because we were looking for people and stuff like that. But once we got the ball rolling, hell, we were cruising right through. So
That's good.
we're not getting discouraged. We're not going to get discouraged. And if there's anybody out there listening, come on over, Windseeker, join the tribe. We're a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. When it's time to be serious, we're serious, but we still joke around. We're not sweaty. But we had a lot of fun doing it, and that brought back a lot of faith in the game for me. Killing those bosses, or killing some bosses in the newer content. Yeah. I know it's SSC, and I know that there's other things out, but we're taking our time with it because we're having fun with the game. I don't. If I want to be sweaty, I'll go join a sweaty guild.
Yeah, and I'd still have Shorty in the guild, but they raid during the weekdays, and I really can't because I got other stuff I got to do. So, and I didn't want to take the shaman out. That I played with the
Not
guild all
busting
the
my
time.
ass to help you.
Yeah,
gear.
Part of my language, but I thought it'd been shitty if I would have taken the shaman out. Whenever they helped. Now, yeah, they did kind of help level up or gear up Shrody, but I passed on everything whenever I was playing Shrody in the raids, unless nobody wanted it. Instead of getting DE'd, that's the only time I would take something for Shrody, because Shrody was my 4th level 70. And
yeah,
I
so.
thought it would have been really crappy if I would have taken a piece of gear that for somebody's main or their second 70 for my 4th 70. So
Right.
I only took stuff when it was going to be D'd. So I don't think taking him out just so I can raid on weekends was crappy. So
No,
like I said, he's still wearing a green weapon.
Everybody should be able to play.
But it's a decent green weapon. Yeah, it's got like 97 spell power, but in the Mind Blade has almost 200, or it has 203 or something like that. Yeah, it'll be a big upgrade, but
offhand.
Oh yeah, I got Night Beans offhand.
See, I hate you. I still don't have Night Beans.
It was going to get D'd, so I took it.
Yeah, see, I'm running with my Warlock, and I got the Nightblade, and you know what I'm using? I'm using the offhand off of Netherspite, the healing offhand, I think, or one of the.
Oh yeah, you got that last night, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a healing offhand. It's got like 8 MP5, 22 int, and like 64 to healing, but like 11 to damage. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to use it because of the 22 int. I don't care about anything else. I mean, it gives me intelligence, which gives me more mana, which means I can pew longer. But I need the one with hit on it. If I can get the one with hit, I'm hit cap. And then I can start moving things around. I can start putting on other gear. I can put on my shadow damage necklace. I can put on my wand of obliviation or whatever it's called that does stupid pew damage. It gives me stats. I mean, I can do all that. My crit gets higher. I mean, right now I have a 21% crit with my Warlock. I'm trying to get up to like 25%. Still being hit cap.
Yeah. But
I guess
I am enjoying the Druid.
I think I'm fixing to be the tank for the Leothris fight. We're talking about me tanking the Leothris fight with my Warlock. So it looks like both of my characters are going to be saved into one SSC room. And my Warlock is only going to be killing one boss. If we do it that way. We may end up getting a Warlock that can go, and if they do, then I'm going to free up my Warlock to go with somebody else.
What I like is I usually tank Kigler during the girls' High King fight.
Yeah, because you can't be polymorphed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. That would be enjoyable.
Oh, last night I pulled Kigler, was hitting him, and then decided to come over there and smack me in my face and kill me. So then a hunter took over, and they downed it.
Yeah, I wanted to get my mage up because I want a mage tank in there.
Oh yeah,
that's something I think that I would be good at.
Oh, I know you would be.
So I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Arcane Fire and just be stupid. But yeah,
I mean, wanting to be, but I'm having too much fun with Frost, so oh well.
Yeah, I haven't made my full decision yet. But I mean, yeah, I've been having a lot of fun now. I mean, when I get to do stuff, the cold and we had the freezing weather, so I didn't go anywhere then because it was freezing, and I just wasn't going to go anywhere while it was cold for those 2 days.
Are you ever a box clicker on the Mags fight?
Yes.
I couldn't remember. I know you're healing or not, but
no, I'm a warlock. When I've been playing my warlock, Keith has been giving me. He's been assigning me a.
Dude, I love being a box clicker because I don't know. I just never run out of mana when I'm a box clicker. When I'm not, well, like half the fight, I'm out of mana.
Oh, I'm a warlock. I run out of mana. That's all we do.
Then you start cutting yourself and you.
Something like that. You gotta do something to get some mana.
So, anything else happened near your Kara?
No.
I know. King's Defender still didn't drop.
No, it didn't. A lot of plate healing gear and a lot of. It seemed like just healing gear in general was dropping.
Dude, the
rain
we did earlier was nothing but healing gear. It seems
the rain dropped out of the box on chests instead of the King's Defender. Like
is that when somebody said I have never seen it drop out of here?
Yeah, or something dropped out of there I've never seen before. Never in the whole time I've been running have I ever seen it drop out of there. And it dropped. And we've been looking for King's Defender for probably going on 2 months now, something like that. His King's Defender is my life's justice. He just can't get it to drop. It drops for everybody else but him, and that's all he needs out of there. Yeah. And that's the only reason he keeps it. I'm afraid he's going to get it, and then we're no longer going to run Karazhan ever again.
Oh, we will, but at least whatever the badges start dropping.
Oh, dude,
we'll definitely be doing it every week.
I'm going to be doing that on Savage. I'm going to be doing it on. I'm going to be doing it on Towlet. I'm going to be doing it on Val because I'm going to get him up there. Hell, even if I have to go in lower than level 6, go in at what can you get in there at 68?
68, yeah.
Yeah. Even if I have to go in there at level 68 and start getting badges, I'll start doing that just so I'll have badge, so I get badge gear.
Well, we need to work on your mage, getting him up there. Even if you have to play him, and when I get up in the morning, I play him. And after you get up, you play him.
No, it don't bother me. I just been messing around with the hunter just because I've been having fun with him.
I'm sorry, I just got a level. I got some 60s that need runs through slave pins. Maybe that's why I want you to hurry up.
So as long as it benefits you, we need to hurry up and level him.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Who helped get him up there?
Oh yeah, I know. I'll do that. So you ain't telling me nothing.
Who's helping your shaman get leveled?
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Check the epic beard out.
How much is leveling your shaman going to benefit me?
I don't think it is. I don't understand why you were doing it. I was like, okay, I'm not going to complain.
Because I'm a nice guy. And plus, if you switch your shaman to healing, then if you actually have your druid as something else, you're like, well, and y'all need a healer, just let me do it by shaman. Because I'm doing stuff.
He's not. He's going to go. I'm totally going enhancement with my shaman.
Oh, that's right. Well, I didn't know.
I'm going balls out enhancement. And I'm going to show everybody what enhancement can do as a shaman.
Well, I know as soon as the TBC, or not TBC, but Wrath patch comes out, I'm going.
You're going enhancement? Yeah, I knew you were.
Because
I knew you were going
Wrath,
to do that.
Wrath enhancement is, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Wrath enhancement shamans are nasty.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to do that. But yeah, I don't know. Level 40. See, from 40 to 50, I have no weapon skill, and I'm enhanced.
Yeah, but you can almost go to Blasted Lands and just heal yourself and just get it up.
I'm just gonna go kill boars and Elwyn Forest.
Oh, in case y'all didn't know, there is a mob in Blasted Lands that will go down to level 1 and never die. He's like a prisoner.
Yeah, you're supposed to do a quest, and when he goes to this certain point, you're supposed to push a button and it releases him or something, and it doesn't release him, so he stays there. He doesn't hit that hard. If you're a healer, you shouldn't have any problem. If you've even got a heal, you won't have any problem at all.
Yeah.
And you can just sit there and beat the crap out. That's what I did with Chris's Paladin for 2 hours before.
We won't talk about that.
before TBC dropped. 2 hours before TBC dropped, I go level his Paladin skill with this weapon.
Because I was at work.
And then we get on, and he fucking changes weapons because another one dropped. Didn't even use it, and then we didn't even play together because we could never get playing together. So I was like, why did I? Okay, well, he's got weapon skill at least. Yeah, that was fun. I learned how to play a paladin that day. Where's the heal?
So you ready to talk about the news? Alright, more Blizzard comments on the state of Burning Crusade Classic server population. So, on the WoW Community Council thread discussing Burning Crusade Classic server population, Agrin has shared more thoughts regarding the issue by directly responding to community suggestions. So, they had the community make suggestions about what they should do about the populations. Somebody says, make the lower pop faction on a server incentivized to want to play on that server. So, yeah, you've got a lower pop, but you get this. So, and he said, not speaking for the team here, but I personally really like this idea. We try to do something similar to this for the PvP queues by giving the minority faction a special award for playing, but it wasn't a lot. I think this idea could use some expanding and additional development. We'll keep discussing it. So what do you think about that?
Well,
I think it really kind of worked for the PvP.
I mean, I don't know because I'm not a big fan of PvP. But even with just regular going, as far as PvE, I think they should let high pop, or what I think they should do, period, for me to solve the problem, I think, would be to merge all of the low pop servers together. Warn people that you're gonna, these servers are going to be merged together, and there may be name changes. If yours is one that's going to be a name change, allow one of those people or those people to have a free transfer to a server of their choosing, as long as it's not, if it's PvP, go to PvP, RP, go to RP, and PvE, go to PvE. But allow people to have a free server transfer if they have the same name as someone else.
Yeah.
And give them that chance. If they don't,
Well,
nobody. You're not gonna make everyone happy. You're gonna have to choose what majority of the people you want to make happy.
Well, going off of that, I think to do that, I think they need to take a low pop alliance with a low pop horde and combine those servers.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's not many of those, but kind of work it out a little bit. I don't know.
For sure, they would want to do something like that because that would solve the PvP problem that they're having of not having as much as much horde or as much alliance on.
It wouldn't probably solve it, but it would make it better.
Well, yeah.
All right, so another cap factions at 40 out of 60 or 35-65, which means like horde to alliance is 40-60 or horde to alliance is 35-65. make it cap. So whenever you are at 60% horde logged on, then it's you're in queue or whatever. And they responded by saying, this is significantly more touchy, and this is kind of what I was referring to when I talked about us being leery of ideas that directly damages or diminishes players' ability to play the game. We did actually invest in developing tech to allow us to queue each faction independently and consider rolling this out in Season of Mastery. The idea here would have been to basically enforce some sort of specific faction balance, say 60-40, and then force queues on a majority faction until the minority faction began to log in to compensate. Ultimately, we pulled back from this for several reasons. What if we get into a situation where, say, every PvP server is skewed towards the Horde? Is it possible that players could get into a state where they are literally unable to log onto any server at all just because they had the temerity to want to play Horde? What happens if the population of a certain server or servers are such that there are never enough of the minority faction logging that the majority queue never goes down, or worse, the wait time actually continues to climb because the rate at which the minority faction logging in never matches or exceeds the rate that the majority faction is logging out? We could create an almost infinite queue situation on certain realms, and it would be completely arbitrary and not based on the actual hardware limitations of that realm. I agree with that. Is it worth the hit to experience of those who just want to play their chosen faction to achieve some sort of contrived balance on PvP realms that doesn't guarantee fair world PvP encounters anyways? That said, the work we did to implement this still exists, and this might be a thing to consider rolling out in a future season or classic release if we felt that we could implement it in a way that would be beneficial to more players that it restricts. Now, I don't like this because the simple fact that if you said you were going to be on at a certain time for a raid, well, you can't guarantee that you're going to be on if this happened.
That's very true, and that's
unless you were of the minority faction.
That's why I don't give a shit about PvP. Because to me, it ruins everything that I enjoy about the game. Because they want to change everything to make PvPers happy. And to me, PvPers are not a high... it's not as high in PvP as it is in people who PvE, to me, from what I've seen. But I understand you've got to make everyone happy. You got to try to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
But Blizzard hasn't made everyone happy in the last 14 years. They might as well stick to their guns and do what it is.
But I don't know. I would say it's okay. I kind of like the idea, but I'm really totally against it because what happens if something happens and all the hordes stop playing and I'm Alliance, and then so now the Alliance becomes the majority and I can't log into the game? Of course, then I'm really going to hate it. So, yeah. I'm kind of against it.
Then do cross server PvP.
Yeah. And then
that's the only way you can do it.
Open up free transfers to the minority and from the majority only. So again, this logically makes a lot of sense. However, there are some details to consider. Looking inward as a player, would you voluntarily move to an outnumbered faction on a realm? If the answer is yes, can you honestly say that you feel that a significant number of other players would make a similar choice? Again, using the data we've gathered over the past few years, it's fairly conclusive that players do not take advantage of free character moves or paid transfers to move to the underdog faction. It's just not something that happens to a degree to move the needle in a positive direction, and offering that move as the only option that players have for free transfers is likely not going to be positively received by players who are unhappy with their current realm. And I would like to add on there free guild transfers. to the minority and from the majority only.
Yeah, you could.
But not just you have to be on a majority realm, but just any of the worlds you can transfer from, as long as it's only to a minority one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that, I don't know. I don't really see how to fix it completely.
Yeah.
I
There's
know
no way they're going to ever be able to totally fix it.
They've always had this. It seems to me they've always had this problem. In the game. Period. People want to play. They want to play Horde. And I understand wanting to play Horde because, for one, Horde's got some damn good racials.
Yeah.
But also people. I guess people are human all the time.
The reason I don't want to play the Hordes because, yes, they have the better racials, but I want to play the harder classes.
I just don't like playing. I just have never liked Horde. I don't know what it is. I've just never. You've always tried to get me to play Horde, and I just don't. For some reason, I don't enjoy it. I don't know if it's. I don't enjoy.
Just whenever I feel like playing something different.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just I don't enjoy the factions or if some. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Now, open up cross-realm play or connected realms. Just like they've already kind of done is connected like 4 different servers or whatever. Again, speaking personally, I could see this being something that works with some serious caveats and differences from modern World of Warcraft. What if this was restricted to only people on your friends list or in a community with you? What if this is only worked in instant content? These are a few things that might be cool to explore. It's definitely worth talking about more, but this is something we'd really have to think long and hard about. Basil said, just as easily as I can see a weekly realm update blurb on the launcher, so too can I see a weekly short multiple choice survey about game direction and people's thoughts on changes like this. So this is actually something the team has talked about a lot, and we have some plans to investigate a way to poll the community about certain topics and to do so in-game. The current, very half-baked, ideas are something like an NPC somewhere in the world that asks questions about hot-button issues that players can answer via a flavor text window. Maybe once per account, with some restrictions requirements so it's not abused. The responses we gather could help us make better decisions, or at least help inform us about things that we'd like to have a bigger conversation about in this forum or in the live chat at some point. Regardless, the team really likes this idea, and we plan to explore it more. Thanks a ton for thoughtful ideas and solutions. Keep them coming.
I don't like it. I don't like that idea at all.
What about the poll or
about the whole putting a character in game to ask questions and answer it and blah blah blah. I don't like that at all.
Well, if we kind of have something like this. It's called the ticket.
Yeah, if you're gonna do something like that, then why not have people who play on, who play retail? Because I'm sure a lot of people who play retail have already who also play classic.
Yeah.
Or would have an insight or something on the PvP situation. Because they've had to play classic in the past, so they know about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody usually plays retail or something. Make it a survey, and if you take the survey, you get a freaking pet. If you take the survey, you get a freaking pet for your little pet collection or whatever in retail. People like that, so give them a pet. I mean, you give out everything anyways. Hell, you gave us epic riding mounts. If we bought a bundle pack, so why not give us a pet if we take this survey? That way, if you want to take the survey, you can go take it, and if you don't want to, you don't have to.
So have an incentive to doing a survey, or if you do so many surveys, like when you did Dungeon Finder back in Wrath, you got a pug.
Yeah.
Do so many surveys, you get
you get like a floating book page or a scroll or something called survey. Who knows?
A floating kerosene book that floats from beside you while you're running around.
Something. I mean, it's just they give away pets like that all the time in retail anyway, or mounts or whatever. So why not do it again? Give away a pet if you do it. To me, I would see that as better, because I don't like stuff messing with the in-game content, because that doesn't have anything to do with the game. What if you're playing on an RP server? What does that have to do with you, RP?
Yeah.
Them asking questions about stuff that's going on outside of the game or outside of what you know. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Take it with a grain of salt.
Now, I kind of like the cross realm because they've already kind of done that, but people were abusing it because they would go and they would farm a bunch of stuff real quick, and they would have a friend invite them to their. Well, I guess it would be called layered. I'm sorry.
Yeah, layered.
And their buddy would invite them to their lair, and then they would go farm all that stuff real quick, and then they have another buddy invite them to their lair.
Yeah,
So I mean, people will find a way to abuse anything they do.
Anything.
Anyway.
I was going to say, anything that you can do, they're going to find a way to.
Yeah.
So it just really depends.
You make 10 people happy, you're going to piss off 20 people probably.
Yep. Pretty much, but I mean that's the more or less the name of being. That's the game you chose when you decided you wanted to make a game.
Yeah.
You're not ever going to make everyone happy. Even if you did everything that everybody wanted, they would find something else to bitch about.
Yep. Because you brought back Classic, but you changed it.
Yeah.
Because people were complaining. And to my point, you shouldn't have changed it. You should have just brought Classic back. But Classic had already changed because people playing on the what do you call those servers?
Oh, the private servers?
Yeah, people playing on private servers ruined the Classic game because they found out you can boost. And who in the heck figured out the route and what to do in Mara? I don't know if you've watched any of these videos of the Mara boost. Oh my goodness, you have to fall down halfway, turn around, and blink forward, and like, what in the what are you talking about? And then you have to do that. Who figured out this run? It had to be somebody on a private server, of course. So Blizzard had to change stuff, and we never actually got the Classic experience unless you played Classic.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyways, I rated. I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
All right. So, now let's talk about.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a big PvP, so I don't know as much that I probably should about what needs to be done.
Yeah, but this is also affecting PvE, so I don't know what should be changed about PvP to help, but no matter what they do, it's probably going to affect the PvE players. It is what it is. So now there's another thing about Blizzard on the state of Burning Crusade Classic server population. Now Blizzard has posted their thoughts on the current state of Burning Crusade Classic server population, possible changes for the future. Yeah, it sounds something like what I just did, but this is another one. This is what Blizzard said. Hello. First off, big thanks to Six Fury and Basil for taking the time to write up your thoughts on this. Second, apologies for taking so long to reply. No great reason or excuse other than I had to think about this post a lot before making it. As you can tell, the last thing I read. It was about what Six Fury and Basil did.
Yeah.
In any case, this is definitely a top issue for both us and for players, and it's a topic we're basically always talking about as a team internally. I'd like to preface what I'm about to say with this. Player distribution across realms is one of the most complex, if not the most complex issue that WoW Classic faces, and I'm not going to provide a silver bullet answer today. There is no single right answer for this issue because different people want different things, and lots of apparently obvious solutions have non-obvious consequences. I like to start. It might be appropriate for us to touch on what we've done so far and what the actual intent of that is. In November, we opened a multitude of free character moves between many realms. The intent of this was to respond to the feedback that some players wanted to play on realms with a higher population. We aren't trying to stop smaller servers from becoming even smaller, and we aren't trying to prevent so-called mega servers from forming. We are simply trying to give players who want to move an easy option to do so. It's not perfect or complete, but it's a relief valve. It's also be the first to acknowledge that we probably should have done this sooner. This isn't meant to be an excuse, but the main reason we waited as long as we did, and a big driver to being very slow and methodically when making changes that affect server population in general, is because in our attempts to fix things for specific groups, we could unintentionally damage the experience of other groups. This is something that always gives us pause. Here's an example. Imagine a medium population PvP realm that is 60% Horde and 40% Alliance, and the majority of people in this realm are happy with the state of the realm. However, half of the current Alliance population, 20% of the total server population, is unhappy at the feeling of being disadvantaged in world PvP, having a harder time leveling without getting ganked, and having a perceived weaker factional economy. If we open free character moves off this realm, this unhappy 20% of players might be delighted to be able to easily leave for greener pastures. Let's assume that they all go from unhappy to happy, but now what's left is a smaller realm that is 75% Horde and 25% Alliance. It's not hard to imagine that now Alliance players who were previously content with a 60-40 split now become unhappy at being 3-1 underdogs and having their own economy and community shrink by 50%, and now they're unhappy. And on the other hand, some percent of Horde players who value world PvP and were happy being 60-40 PvP realm are now also unhappy because their faction is now so dominant that the only world PvP available feels lopsided and unsupporting. In the above example, doing something well intentioned to benefit the unhappy 20% would have actually hurt more people than it helped. This is part of the dilemma that what causes us to take a lot of time to analyze things before taking actions that affects realm population and faction unbalance. Ultimately, we did end up opening free character moves to and from a variety of destinations, and we'll continue to monitor and modify the source and destination realms as time passes. We could have done a lot better here, however, or at least been more communicative, and I do sincerely apologize for that. Next, I want to drill into a common suggestion that we've seen that was alluded to in both posts above, as well as talk about we've approached the issue as we've debated it internally. Oh my god, I did not realize how long this post was.
Yep.
But this is a big issue. I mean,
it really is. It is a big issue. It really is, and it's something that needs to be handled. But yeah. I don't think it's anything that's ever. I don't think they're ever going to get it solved. Because.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say people aren't happy unless they're mad, or unless they've got something to complain about. There's a lot of Karens in the world, and I think that's just something that people like to do. They just like to complain. So even if you were to fix it 100% or give everybody what they wanted, somebody's still going to complain somewhere because it's not exactly what they want.
Yeah. Now, to move on, my server is 9% Horde, and this other server is 90% Alliance. Merge them and make a perfectly balanced server. This idea is, on its face, a great one, and we can see why such a suggestion could be a quick one to make. There are a few things that have given us pause about this in the past, however. Merging servers is actually something that WoW has almost never done, and the reason for this is simple. We don't like the idea of someone losing their unique name on a realm, and this is doubly true for Classic, where your identity in the community is a major aspect of the game. We've somewhat worked around this in modern versions of the World of Warcraft with the concepts of connecting realms. With this process, we do allow you to keep your name and guild affiliations if it's not seamless and an intrusive change to the player's chosen gameplay environment. When the connection is completed, players on the new connector realms will then have a realm name appended to the end of their nameplate, such as Agrin-Grobulus or Kivax-Pagel, which the first part is the name, and then the dash, and then the server name. As a result of this being entirely new territory to WoW Classic, this also leads to more Classic-specific questions and conundrums, such as, is this appropriate for WoW Classic? In doing so, we are essentially overriding your realm identity and forcibly causing you to merge with another wholly unknown to you realm and community. What if you don't want to be on a balanced realm and at some point specifically elected to move to a realm where your faction is in the majority? We have years of data that suggest that, on a long enough timeline, the population for most PvP realms will tend to skew towards one faction or the other, and that this skew often starts as a result of more incoming players joining the majority faction rather than players leaving the minority faction. What if merging two realms like this forces layers to be enabled at all times, when they were not enabled previously? Layers are a useful tool and something that we feel most players understand they will have to deal with when choosing to move to a high or full population realm. But if your realm has existed without layers for months or years, and they are suddenly forced upon you, is that okay? What happens in several months when the population of this new, more balanced realm starts to again, and likely inevitably, I said it, skew towards one faction or the other? Do we then connect the already connected realms to yet another realm with the inverse population skew? In such a scenario, you could easily see a never-ending cycle of continuously connected realms to chase that balance, and of course, each time we connect a set of realms, it further dilutes the original realm's ecosystem and communities. And last, overall, the data we have suggests that broadly, players don't seem to want an even playing field, and or they care more about having their faction be heavily populated and lively than they care about their realm being balanced. Our concern is that the more we try to directly intervene, the more likely we may be to destroy the communities or individual playing experiences that players have created organically. Does this mean we don't ever connect realms in WoW Classic? No, and that is an active discussion we've been having for quite some time.
Okay, well, if they're worried about changing Classic, then that's really going to screw everything up because that wasn't part of Classic at all. So then you're just going to piss the people off who want to keep Classic.
And they've already screwed it all up anyways. It's not Classic anymore anyways.
Well, I'm just saying, okay, so you're going to please one to mess with the other? That just sounds like you're being a big brother. Yeah. That's just like picking on the middle sibling because he has a different mom.
All right, there's only a little bit more left of this, and then we'll talk about a little bit more, and we'll move on. Obviously, there are many other proposed solutions that we've seen from players as well from our colleagues, But using just this one example, you can likely see how difficult this is to work through, and how even a seemingly simple solution can be fraught with peril if not carefully considered. I mostly provide this to give insight into the types of discussions we have internally and how we arrive at the actions or inactions we take. So, where do we go from here? Well, I think that's where you come in. What we'd like to see now is some more suggestions from you with your ideas of how we could improve the situation, and ideally, we could have some back and forth here to discuss them. One thing I will ask you to keep in mind, however, is that we generally prefer to avoid any solution that would force players to do anything they don't want to do, or directly damage or diminishes their ability to log in and play the game. So please try and keep that in mind when suggesting things in this discussion. Obviously, that places a lot of restrictions on the scope of ideas, but that's kind of the point, and part of the reason for the dilemma we face right now when thinking of ways to address this issue in a way that fits within the WoW Classic design space. Lastly, we also wanted to float the idea that knowledge that this issue might just be too big for forum discussion. To that end, we are working on plans to host some form of live chat with you soon to discuss this and other aspects of WoW Classic. This is still in the planning phase, and we hope to have more details about this in the coming weeks, but needless to say, I think we all want to get to the point where we have multiple avenues to have meaningful conversational discussions about this and other topics affecting our community. Please stay tuned for details on that. Thank you again for your time. We hope that you will have a most excellent New Year. Thank you.
All right, Bill and Ted, a most excellent New Year.
Yeah, so they're hearing people's complaints about those population servers, whether they're the high or low or whatever. And yeah, so they're trying. It sounds like they've really been putting a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, so, I mean,
we'll have to.
I think it's to me they're just beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
I mean, you're putting a lot of work into it for nothing to me. Maybe it's going to work. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it makes people happy. Whatever it is they do. I want everybody to be happy with it. I wouldn't want to play a game that I was unhappy playing. I mean, so I can understand where they're going to be coming from with it. I wouldn't want to play a game if it didn't make me happy.
Alright, so we'll move on. Blizzard adds context for post-nerf Tier 6 content and Burning Crusade Classic. And while it was already confirmed that there would not be a pre-nerf version of Tier 6 content, Blizzard added some extra content to this decision in a blue post on the WoW Community Council forum. Anyways, Blizzard said pretty straightforward answer. There just wasn't a lot of sweeping changes to Tier 6 content after it was released. We did a pretty thorough investigation of the data of each patch between 2.1 and 2.4.3, as well as looked at public patch notes and just came to the conclusion that there wasn't enough of substance for an interesting pre-nerf difficulty. Most changes were essentially bug fixes, with only Mother Sharaz and Archimonde seeing anything resembling a real mechanic change, and even they were actually fairly minor. Contrast that with the Tier 4 and Tier 5 that had some major and highly memorable mechanic changes happened between patch 2.0 and 2.1, and it just made a lot of sense to really dig in and go big with pre and post nerf for those tiers. Sunloyal Plateau will have a pre and post nerf state, however, as there were more significant changes there. So
no, I don't think it bothers me too much when they do
yeah.
I'm in the guild to where the post nerfs help me. I'm in a guild that can't clear some of the content right away, so the nerfs help. So yeah, I'm a fan for nerfs, but I'm a fan for it happening a little later. Give those guilds that can do that a chance to do it. Give them a chance to shine. Give them a chance to clear it without nerfing it.
And they added more to this while it was already confirmed there would not be a pre-nerf version of Tier 6 content, and Blizzard did add additional context to the decision. Blizzard had shared another blue post explaining that the philosophy behind pre-nerf and post-nerf content for Classic. Blizzard said, I agree that we could have been a bit more explicit. From our perspective, it was, turn off the switch that enabled all those changes we made. Essentially, reverting it back to the 2.4.3 post-nerf state that we started with internally. Of course, from the perspective of players declaring the content weekly, it's not as obvious what we did to make it pre-nerf, so it's likewise not an obvious what gets nerfed when we turn those off. We can scour 15-year-old patch notes to try to figure it out, but we'll try to be more explicit in the future. Sorry about that. We're all busy, of course, so I can only say we'll try our best. Time is everybody's enemy. Regarding post-nerf stages in general, our overall philosophy was, when the next tier unlocks, we go to post-nerf. But obviously, we let T5 go a bit early, so people can get attuned for Tier 6 over the holidays. Also, we need something to trigger the nerf of Sunwell, since we haven't announced any content coming after it. So we'll try to give you a heads up about when that nerf is coming, but it's obviously a ways off since we haven't even released Hydril and Black Temple yet, but soon. And we have heard it's coming soon. We'll talk about it probably next podcast.
Yes, coming in a future podcast.
We certainly want everybody to get a chance to experience the harder versions of these bosses as they were originally released, as well as giving people a chance to progress past them in a form to eventually ended up in. Hope that helps clarify our intent, even if it doesn't provide much in the way of details. And that is done on that. Any thoughts or comments about that? It really doesn't. I don't think it really affects us too much.
I mean, it doesn't.
But we're
really,
the ones. We're not sweaty, so it doesn't really affect us. I think.
In a way, here's my thoughts on it, and I'm just gonna. I mean, this is what I think. I personally don't. I mean, I'm in a guild that likes the nerf, but me personally, I don't think they should ever nerf it. I think it should stay hard. Because that's part of the game. I don't want to play. I don't want to play a game if I have the cheat code, because then it's no fun to me. I like a challenge, and that's what WoW was. WoW Classic was a challenge. It was a challenge to see where you could get. It was a challenge to see how hard things were. It was a challenge to clear it. So why change that? Why take that away from people? Is it because people don't like a challenge? If that's the case, then go play Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I mean, if you don't want a challenge, you'll play something else. It's not meant to. It's meant to be challenging. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yep.
And when you stop with the challenging, and you stop making it challenging, then that's when you're going to lose a big player base. It hasn't so far, but if you just start automatically nerfing it, then those people who are quote unquote sweaty, that like to do this stuff right off the bat, you're going to lose those people, and that's a big thing. Because there's a lot of people who like to come back and experience it when it was harder, because either A, they didn't get to do it in the original when TBC was out, they had to wait for it to be nerfed anyway, or B, they're in my they're in my situation to where. Or they're in the opposite situation to me, to where they're in a guild that can clear the content when it's current, instead of being there. So, I don't like the nerf, but I see why it's there and why it exists, and why people, why Blizzard wants to do it. It's there, but it's still catering to, catering to a certain group, I guess. But WoW's never going to get. They're never going to get away with that. They're never going to get away from that. They're always going to cater to a certain group. They're never going to not.
And anytime they do it one way, the other group's going to complain, and So
exactly. The other group, there's always going to be, the other group's always going to be complaining for some reason.
Yep. You're never going to make 100% of people happy.
No, that's just something.
If that was the case, there wouldn't be 60-40 Horde Alliance.
Yeah.
All right. So, Burning Crusade Classic PvP off-season and gear clarifications. Blizzard has added to the announcement blue post regarding Ariza Season 2's end time, adding more information clearing up some confusion regarding the upcoming PvP off-season. Players will be able to purchase Arena Season 2 gear at a discount from the vendor and Area 52 after Season 2 ends. So, the Blizzard put after Season 2 ends, Arena Season 1 gear will become available for honor points, and Arena Season 2 gear will become available at a discount from the Arena 52 vendors and will no longer be gated by rating. Later, when Season 3 starts, Arena points will be converted to honor, and Season 3 gear will become available.
Okay. I don't PvP.
Yep. So, I think that's it with news. And next week we'll talk about some Black Temple Mount Hydril, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll be hearing some rumors, and we might be able to confirm it. I don't know. So, are you ready to move on to Karazhan?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I'm always
I'll let
ready
you
for
start. We ended with Maiden.
Yes.
So we're going to talk today. We're going to talk about the 3 opera events.
Oh.
I think I ended on how to get to opera or to leave Maiden and you go back to the area of upstairs with the big partiers.
Yeah, I think so.
And then you just keep going through there to these big 2 guys, and both your take and off take have to be top threats. And there's a little tip. You want to tell them the tip?
Oh, you're talking about the guys that put you in ice.
Shackle.
Yeah, a priest can shackle one. That was something that they added. A priest can shackle one of the guys that entomb you, and it makes it a lot easier. So you're only fighting 2.
Yeah. And then you just got to be careful of the wonk Pat that walks up and down, because when you pull 2 of the guys that are a little bit further in the thing, then that one could come too, and you can have 3 of them, and yeah, it's not a good time.
3 would be hard. 3 would be way hard. 2 is doable. That used to be how we did it all the time.
Yeah.
3 would be pretty hard.
All right, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
All right, so let's see. I got a couple different things pulled up because I like to talk about it. When you get up there, you're going to come to this guy named Barnes. He's the stage manager.
Oh, hold on.
What? Wait, what?
You're not going to tell him about the trash? Step in the light?
Oh, I didn't even think about the trash. Hold on. Hold on. I got it.
We just finished talking about 1 set of the trash.
I know. I got it. 1 second. Give me 2 seconds to get it pulled up here. All right. Okay, so there, like he talked about, there's 2 strategies for dealing with Ice Tomb. The first is to let both tanks hit both Skeletal Usher. Oh, that's not Skeletal Usher. Isn't that what they're called?
What?
Yeah. Yeah. There are 2 strategies for dealing with the Ice Tomb. We'll talk about a third one, but
yeah,
the first
that's
is
who you're on.
Yeah, it's to let both tanks hit both Skeletal Ushers, because 2 of the 3 pools are a duo Skeletal Usher pack. If both tanks hit both mobs and the rest of the group doesn't pass on threat, if the first tank is stunned, it will hit the second tank instead of rushing to a heal. Or if the tank can just use a free action potion and immune the stun and threat drop completely. The third option is, of course, to shackle one, and then both tanks attack that one. Make sure the tanks are first and second on aggro, and then you never have to worry about them coming towards you. After you get finished with those guys, you're going to come on to some Spectral Performers. They have a couple of different things they do: bad poetry, curtain call, and spotlight. Bad poetry is sleep for 10 seconds. Curtain call, when happens when the performer dies, it deals fire damage to all players nearby. Still similar to like Goblin Sapper Charge. And then Spotlight will place a beam of light on the ground, increasing damage dealt for anyone inside, enemies or players. Now,
spotlight.
Enemies get a 50% buff on their damage while they're in the spotlight. So when you're fighting them, if there's a spotlight, the tank wants to pull them out of it. Now, all of your casters, and if they stay close enough, melee, but mainly casters, all the casters usually like to go jump in the light, and it gives you a 20% buff for you. It doesn't give you 50, it gives you 20. But it's still a nice little thing. And it says as long as you can keep the Spectral Performers out of the spotlight and keep the raid at high health before the mob dies, the curtain call damage is easy to deal with. If a Spectral Performer dies inside the spotlight, it can deal a ton of damage, and you can wipe your raid.
Yeah.
So you want to pull them out of that spotlight regardless of anything else. You want to get them out of the spotlight. Because,
hope the spotlight don't pop up right when it's about to die.
Yeah.
Which that's happened, and it hurts.
It is bad. But you'll kill those guys. There's some other guys right before Barnes that's kind of up on them. They're not, I can't remember what they are right off the top of my head. They're not performers, but they're other guys. They have a chance to drop the enchants. I believe, what enchant is that? Sure-footed, maybe? There's an enchant that they have a chance to drop everybody once.
Oh.
So, killing them gives you I think it's sure-footed or one of those. Killing you gives a chance at dropping that because they're the only people who drop it. So, if you can kill them, you get a chance at it. Some people skip them, some people kill them. But you'll have to kill a couple of them anyways. And you can do Bond. He's a stage manager and starts the opera event, which is the fourth boss encounter in Carrots. The opera events consist of three different fights. You have the Big Bad Wolf, you have Romulus and Julian, and then you have Wizard of Oz. First fight I'm going to talk about is the Big Bad Wolf. This opera event consists of Big Bad Wolf is essentially you're watching a play and it has Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf in it. Big Bad Wolf is somebody you're going to kill, and as you're fighting him, he's going to randomly mark a target as Red Riding Hood, and he's going to chase them around the room trying to attack them. What you're going to do is you're going to run on the outside of the room. Don't cut corners. Run to each corner, turn and run to the next corner, turn around the next corner, turn around the next corner. You get a speed buff, but you lose all of your armor. So if he hits you, you might be able to take 2 hits, but essentially it's going to be 1. He also does Terrifying Howl, or after he does that, he'll chase you around the room for a little while, and then it goes back to tank and stuff. But he also has Terrifying Howl, which fears all nearby enemies. And he has a wide swipe, which stuns targets for 4 seconds if you're in front. So, like I said, the main focus of the fight is Red Riding Hood debuff. The target of this debuff will be need to kite the boss around the room until, he kills you or he stops chasing. If you have, like, Fear Ward, Tremor Totem, use those to prevent Terrifying Howl. Other than that, don't be in front of him for wide swipe. Stay behind him. That's just common sense. And it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. He's dead. Do you want me to just talk about all 3 fights?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, the next one you could get would be my favorite fight. It's Romulo and Julian, or Romeo and Juliet. They're doing, they're professing their love for each other, and blah 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 blah. But anyway, Julian has 4 abilities, and Romulo has 4 abilities. When it starts out the fight, you'll face Julian alone. She has Eternal Affection. It casts a large heal on an ally, which that doesn't happen yet. She has Devotion, which buffs damage and cast speed. Powerful Attraction, which stuns a random target for 6 seconds. And Blinding Passion, which deals damage to a target and applies the damage over time. After she dies, Romulo will pop up, and you'll have to fight him by himself. And he says some stuff, and he says, "Have at thee, boy." He's really overdramatic. But he has things like daring, which increases the attack speed by 35% for 8 seconds. Backward lunge, attacks a random target behind him. Deadly swath, which is a frontal cleave attack. And poison thrust, the chance to apply a poison on hit. This poison reduces the victim's stats by 10% per stack. So it can stack up. So after you fight Romulo and you kill him, both bosses will resurrect. With both of them engaging at the same time, and you want to split your DPS up between both. You'll want to remove the devotion and daring from either boss to reduce the damage. Julienne needs to be watched at all times to interrupt her eternal affection heal. Make sure to face Romulo away from the group, and both bosses need to die within 15 seconds of each other, or they'll resurrect again for health. So you want to split your stuff up. Usually, if you got melee, kind of a melee, if you're kind of equal on melee and casters, put melee on
Romulus.
I would put melee on Romulus, and you put your casters on Julienne. But if you think about it, you might want your melee on her and your casters on Romulus, because Romulus does a backwards attack that attacks somebody behind him. If there's nobody behind him, then he's not going to be able to do that because you're not going to be close enough to be attacked. Your rays are going to be away from him. So, and you won't get that poison. The only person that gets that poison is going to be the tank. So you might put just depending. Whoever can do most of your interrupts, you want them on Julian because of eternal affection. As long as you can interrupt eternal affection, and you keep your somebody watches them and kind of keeps their health, their percents at the same. If you need to, call out slowing DPS on Julian to put more DPS on Romulo, or slow the DPS on Romulo for Julian, or okay, they're both dying, just keep going and push it to the end.
And only have one person do that because you don't want a lot of people.
Yeah,
what I normally do is I set my focus to the other person that I'm not going to be hitting. I set the focus up for that. That way it pops up on my thing.
Yep.
And then I hit the other one. So that way I can kind of see the health of both of them.
Yeah. But
little tip.
As long as you can get eternal affection, keep it from going off, and you take off the devotion and daring. It's a pretty easy fight. They die, and you get loots, and you move on. Third encounter of the fight. This one
is my favorite.
Yeah, a lot of people like this one. This one is a lot of mechanics and a lot of stuff going on because it's the Wizard of Oz. So this one has a two-part to it. It's a two-phase fight. For the first phase, you're going to face Dorothy, Roar, Strawman, and Tinhead. And if you'll do this kill order and use your cooldowns, you can burn through these most pretty easy. Or most of them pretty easy. Okay, I'm just going to tell you what each of them do, and then we'll talk about killing. Dorothy does a water bolt. Everybody knows what that is. Frost damage to a current target. Frighten, scream, fears nearby enemies. Tito, which is the dog, has annoying yipping, which silences a random target for 2 seconds. Roar, which is the lion. He has frighten and scream, which fears nearby enemies. Shred armor, which reduces target's armor by 5,000. Or mangle, which deals damage to a target and applies a bleeding effect. You have Strawman. He has Brain Bash, stuns target. Brain White, silences the target. Burning Straw. When hit with fire spells, Strawman is disoriented. So that's one of his drawbacks. Tinhead. Tinhead has Cleave, which is a front-facing cleave attack, and Rust, which reduces movement speed by 10% per stack, and it stacks up over time. Okay, that's phase one. Here is kind of your kill order. Dorothy should be killed first and very quickly. If she's killed fast enough, Tito won't even come out, and you ain't got to worry about it. Dorothy should be killed first quickly. If killed fast enough, Tito could be avoided completely. So you won't even have to worry about the dog if you burn a cooldown or something to kill Dorothy. Just blow her up. Roar can be feared and should be feared all the time, but he should also be killed second. As soon as you defeat Dorothy, go right on to Roar. He's the second one to kill. Watch the frightening scream because it causes problems. But other than that, kill Roar. And then when Roar's down, the Straw Man enters combat. He enters before that, but he's the third to enter combat. When Straw Man enters, all you have to do is use a fire spell. Have a Warlock with Searing Pain or a Mage with Scorch. Just hit him constantly because it stuns him. Once you kill Dorothy, and if Tito comes out, Tito, kill. Oh, also, don't ever kill Tito first, because if you do, it sends Dorothy into a crazy rage, and she will mess you up, man.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
She gets pissed. So always kill Dorothy first. But Strawman, he's easy. Have a mage or a warlock just kind of hit him with fire spells, and he'll stand there and walk around like he's dumb. After Roar is dead, then you go to Strawman and kill him. And then finally, you get to Tin Head. Tin Head's the fourth to come out, but when he comes out, he's usually picked up, faced away from the group, and just kind of kited around the outside of the room by a tank. Tank can take the hits, and he just keeps kiting him around the outside of the room, walking with him backwards, and never putting his back to him. After the other ones go down, then you get to Tin Head, you just destroy Tin Head. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is the Crone. The Crone is the Wicked Witch. She does there's two abilities. Cyclone, which tornadoes around the room randomly and knocks people up into the air. It's not going to stop, it's just there. And then Chain Lightning, deals damage to a target and nearby allies. Get away from, try to space out, you really can't, you're on a stage. The damage isn't a whole lot. Cyclone doesn't throw you up in the air, then you come back down and die. It kind of lets you float up and down for a little while and then down. So after all the ads are dealt with, the Crone will appear a few seconds later. This fight's very straightforward. It's tank and spank. Stay away from the Cyclone. That's all it is. Stay away from Cyclone. Have your tank pick her up. You can turn her away from the group. I don't really care. And just destroy her. It's a tank and spank. Just watch out for the Cyclones. It's fun when you're a tree and you get picked up in the air, especially if you're from Oklahoma, because you know tornadoes throw trees around. So
I'm from Oklahoma and I run into the tornado.
Right, I just run to it so I can get a good look at it.
Yeah.
But after that, bing bang boom, you get one of those events. After you do those events, you get your loots, then you walk out of the room, you walk up a ramp because it's just on the other side. You walk in on one side, you walk out, exit stage left. And it's exactly that. If you're looking at the stage, exit stage left. So you'll go through the door, you'll go up, and that's when you start what we call the
rich room.
Yeah, the rich room. Because
people,
every once in a while,
whenever you go to a play or something, and the people in the balconies are the rich people.
Yes, that's where you're essentially going. It's to the rich quarter, and it's got guys up there, philanthropists, I think they're called. I think they're called a philanthropist or something like that. There's usually 2 elites and about 4 non-elites per pool. And the elites usually have a chance of dropping 10 gold, which equals out pretty much to a gold per person.
Yeah.
So you're at least, I think there's 4 pools. So you should come out of there making anywhere from 4 to 5 gold just in that area alone.
I think there's like 2 or 3 pulls, and then you go up a little bit, and there's 2 or 3 more pulls. And then you go on. But we'll stop there. Because we have gone... Let's see, where is it? We have gone almost an hour and a half.
Oh,
wow.
Like
an hour
and
20-something minutes. So we're going to end there. Next week, we'll talk about Nightbane, Curator, and Illhoof. Maybe?
Yes.
I don't know. We'll talk about it, and then we'll go over whatever there. So I think we're pretty much done, because I'm about to go do SSC, and you're going to try to find yourself a raid. I know you said something earlier. So, and if you sign on, I've been seeing a bunch of stuff and looking for group for Karazhan and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure you can find a raid.
Yeah.
So we're going to get off here, and I'm going to edit it probably in the morning and post it. So until next week, have fun playing the game.
As always.
If you would like to get a hold of us, you can email us at wowresurrected@outlook.com. This show is brought to you by Heartland Production Entertainment. If you'd like to help to make the show better, go to patreon.com/heartlandpae.